'80s and into the early 90s, it was in a house in Olympia, Washington, just southwest of Seattle, that Kurt Cobain wrote most of the songs for Nirvana's landmark album, Nevermind. Here, scrawled on his bedroom wall, was the slogan, "Kurt smells like Teen Spirit," put there by a musician friend.
It was sort of this little scene happening in Olympia at the time, and Kurt was kind of double dating with Dave Grohl, who was his roommate at the time, and there were a number of women, including Kathleen Hanna and Toby Vale, who eventually were going to form Bikini Kill and go on and do a number of things themselves. Kurt was interested in Toby, and Kathleen was taunting him about that, and Kathleen apparently wrote on the wall of Kurt's apartment, "Kurt smells like Teen Spirit." And it was written kind of as a slam to say, essentially, he smelled like this woman's scent. Kurt didn't understand that at all. That totally went over his head, and thought it was a revolutionary anthem kind of line. And consequently, he sat down and wrote the song. The song really isn't about that event, but I think that that's what inspired the piece of graffiti.
Whatever the inspiration, Smells Like Teen Spirit overnight established the group as international superstars and made grunge the hip music and fashion statement of the moment.
I don't know who made up the word grunge. I don't think that Nirvana ever said that they were a grunge band.
I just don't get it. I don't know. What is grunge? Didn't it mean just like the mildew on your shower curtain?
No one set out to market this music as that, that's what happens when the media catches on. They have to call it something. I like it as much as new wave. I would have been proud to be a new waver, 15 years ago.
If grunge as a phrase meant anything, what it meant was a kind of fusion of the suburban metal instinct with the urban punk instinct. What Kurt Cobain in particular was gifted at was adding a little bit of pop to that. There was just we all were raised with the Beatles in some context. He figured out a way to make the Beatles work somewhere underneath those other two layers.
The melody is beautiful. That's one of those things. It could be this loud grunge song, and you're supposed to play it with passion. It's real garage rock, honest music, but
load up on guns, bring your friends, it's fun to lose and to pretend.
That song is their song, and with every measure that I was putting down on tape, I was very clear that that was their baby. But she just hung out with me for a while, like a friend. Seeing that there's another side to that rage, that male rage that was being expressed. Because within all that male rage, there's something ripped up. There's something sliced open. That's obvious. So I was going after that.
It's a catchy song. It's a great power pop tune. The fact that there's this underlying message of anger and discontentment is almost secondary to the melodic hook.
The Beatles influenced everyone. Part of what made me want to become a musician was the ability to do what they were doing, which was to continue to stick up and say, hey, I think this is bullshit. I don't agree with this, and I'm gonna sing about it really loud. And I still carry that with me today. Just that ability to not have to fall into the rat race and not have to swim with the rest of the fish.
The whole thing that it said to me, and the whole thing Nirvana said to me, and their breakthrough said to me, and the way that the music sounded, was that you can hold on to your punk rock ideals, yet survive and thrive in the mainstream. And I know it sounds kind of silly now, but at the time that was a really big deal.
It was this, huge shift in music. And it kind of became, for a very brief moment, the soundtrack to Seattle. You'd walk down the street and it'd be coming out of one car, and you'd be walking by, a corner coffee shop, and they'd be playing Nevermind, and you'd walk to your friend's apartment and he'd be playing it. It was wacky how the song became the sound of Seattle for a brief moment.